Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset.
If you get one shot at this, what kind of shot are you going to take?
If we forget who we are, they're going to forget who you are.
You've got an adversity story that's out of this world.
Everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer.
Welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. Today I'm talking with Anthony Prichard with anthonyprichard.com. We're going to talk about YouTube ads today, and I'm super excited about that because it is a topic that I definitely need more depth in. Anthony, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Ken. Thanks for having me on your podcast. I love the podcast platform. I think every business owner should adapt some sort of media publication like this because it's so dynamic. So I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you very much. I love it, and it is an integral part of our business as a whole. So I could not agree more with you. Before we jump into the questions and get to know you a little bit more, can you tell the audience who you are, like kind of what got you into entrepreneurship and what it is that you're working on now?
Yeah, after college, I started a general construction business, and I thought I was going to change the world from the bottom up, but it fell flat on my face with the previous recession. And so I gave up all my tools and started running with something that I had learned while I was a GC, which was, take video of yourself, collect evidence or proof that you can do what you say you can do and publish it online. And it led me on a journey into digital marketing through video and analytics and websites and CRMs. And it allows me to create this funnel, this sales funnel that's just much more human because of the video component. I mean, 16 years ago, it was 2007 and 2006. And that's when YouTube was born and purchased by Google. And for $400 million, and I think it's probably worth $400 billion today. It's the biggest, it's the universal university. It's the second biggest search engine in the world. And it's a wonderful asset for businesses to use as an asset library and to leverage live stream. I mean, you can be literally in half the world's pocket with a video, a YouTube video, and you can text it, you can email it, you can put it in a YouTube ad, which I'd love to talk to you about later in this program. But, as entrepreneurs, we learned early on, we got to go first. We got to stick our neck out there and take a risk. And there's a lot of people that resist putting themselves on video, as you're probably aware of. And this video topic just won't go to rest. You hear it wherever you go, whenever marketers talk, video, video, video. How are you going to deploy video in your company? And yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, a lot more seriously. And it's a lot of fun. I love what I do.
That is amazing. We have kind of opposite paths. I went to journalism school, journalism, film, and video is what I went to school for. I love video, love film. Like 1999, I moved to IT because the film and video, I was splicing film and audio. That's how I learned. And then I saw digital coming on, and I always had been a computer user, but I'm like, oh man, anybody can do this now. I'm out. And I went into IT, and now video is part of my everyday life again. Right. So
you used to have to go to school for 3 years to be an audio engineer. And now a video production degree is the least valuable university level degree.
Yeah, it's crazy. The topic of video right now specifically is something that I'm working on in depth behind the scenes, packaging and transporting video and a lot of other files. But on top of that, the creation of video, it's going to change.
Bloating.
Like, we're shooting this October 2nd of 2025. And my bet is by the end of this year, 2025, 2 months away, the way we consume video, create video, and publish video is going to change in a dramatic way that will blow people's minds. I think Sora 2 is going to change consumption and creation completely. Are you familiar with Sora 2?
No, I was just going to ask.
Okay. Sora 2 is ChatGPT's Sora. It's their video generation model. Sora 2 just came out a couple days ago, and it is generative prompt video creation in a very TikTok looking form. So people are going to be able to create 5, 10, 20, 30-second videos by prompt, and it's going to go right into a feed just like TikTok. And they're already going pretty quickly, and it's invite only today. It's only on iOS, but are you using prompt video creation today?
I hear so much about faceless video ads and the revenue streams that they generate. I'm not being intelligent by not diving into that. And,
Okay.
you
need to
can't.
dive into that, but let's go to traditional. Why does somebody need a video? So we know that there can be thousands of ways to create our videos, right? And AI is giving us new ways to create our videos. The algorithms are giving us new ways to consume those videos. But why does a company today need to be making videos as much as they possibly can?
It's the credibility piece and the human piece. I think all things equal, people are going to buy from you because there's a stack of evidence that they can't shake a stick at, or they like you as a person. They like you, as a thought leader, as somebody who, expands their industry or focuses on something very unique.
Exactly. It's pretty wild. So you focus more on, from what I'm gathering, you get somebody into the ecosystem, and nobody wants to get into the ecosystem, and then the ecosystem is dead, right? You spend time, money, energy to get somebody to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you need them to stay. How does somebody do that with video?
Well, I think that comes after the initial traffic comes in, right? We've got to take this steps at a time. And the best way to introduce yourself is with a video, hands down. Eyes, ears, kinesthetically clicking on the screen. You're able to convey 10 times more information than an image or a text or a audio message would. And then you've proven to yourself you can draw people into your offer. Now is when you start to plug the holes with your paid advertising, and you start to pepper in better nurturing. And a better nurturing experience is going to include video, and you kind of have to let the person take their own path and respect their sales process. It might be longer than others, but just to stay pleasantly persistent with valuable information does the trick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge to have that ecosystem of data once they find you and they get in. I'm guilty of not using video in my nurture. I'm very guilty of it. And I think it's because I've been in the internet so long. To put a video in an email prior to really today was absurd, right? It was really challenging to do. We've been able to put links and stuff in for a long time, but give us an example of something nurturing. Like, how do I implement video into a nurture campaign? And for those that don't know what a nurture campaign is, it's either somebody that has been aware of your company, they're aware of your company, they have fallen out of the sales cycle for some reason, or they might be a previous customer, but they're not in the active sales funnel of, you're not in scope of project or doing contract or anything like that. So newsletter kind of people.
Yeah.
What are some tips and tricks that you can do with video to bring them back into the sales cycle?
Well, it's a good question. It's almost like you've anticipated every single type of buyer and you've put them into a segment. And then let's say you've got 3 offers and this is the first segment. Then you can more easily communicate to that segment because you know what they opted in for and you kind of know their pain points. And so you can really customize their experience. And boy, does it feel good when somebody I come into contact with knows my pain and knows how to just fix my problem fast. I got a 5th wheel hitch installed in my pickup truck today. Big, huge iron bars and a bed liner they had to contend with. My girlfriend and I walk in there and she's like, I've had oil changes that take longer than this. And when you can give a really good custom experience to somebody like that in a quick, short amount of time, they value it. And I think they engage with you more. And that's what we're doing with advertising. We're trying to get the right eyeballs to engage with us. And YouTube just does such a great job with that, Ken. You hear a little bit about geofencing these days. Well, YouTube, you can place your YouTube ads in a 1 mile radius or in a 50-mile radius. You can choose which average household income you want to show the video to. If you want to show it in profile format or landscape on when YouTube is being shown on TVs or mobile phones. So there are so many ways for you to leverage video and get your video in front of the right people that I think this is a topic that's great for any business owner or entrepreneur, because they've fumbled with video a little bit and it's been on the doorstep for a while. So let's get into it and start with the small ones, the short ones. You've probably got a 30-second elevator pitch that belongs on your video somewhere. Or the most valuable thing on any website, in my opinion, is a video testimonial. And that can be argued, but it's like an automatic sales robot that keeps talking the good news about you. And it goes on every platform, not just YouTube.
Absolutely. It's I'm a big believer, and I'm pushing this narrative now harder than I've ever pushed it before, is that every message that you have that you want to convey to a client, you need to do it in as many modalities as possible. People learn and see and hear and feel differently across the board. God, me and my wife can contest to this to the highest percent. Two people can see the same picture and have two completely different outcomes or perceptions of that picture. A sentence can have a completely different. So as many modalities as you can get your message in front of your specific end user that you're wanting to motivate them to do something, right? Use your business, donate to your charity or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better. It's just a better way to do it. If you can text, audio, video, and video has most of those components in one run.
It's such a video revolution. 30 years ago, 5 companies monopolized video. They were all the major media news corporations. And you can see how quickly they're dying today, because every single business has the potential to be their own major news broadcast station. They have all the tools.
I didn't ask anybody permission to start Clicks and Bricks.
Right.
I didn't knock on any doors. I didn't fill out any applications. I just started making videos, and then one day it ended up being this podcast. Right? Like it's a beautiful thing.
Well,
Anthony, go ahead.
This is a great platform, and I think it's a great way for people to get into it. Guest podcasting like myself, I also moderate these. That's why I know how valuable it is to also be a guest and to learn how other hosts bring out shows. But a business leader can get on a platform like this for 30 minutes a month, 60 minutes a month, and create 24 short video snippets that can, you're right, be proliferated, syndicated across all your platforms.
I run a few different businesses, and I try to do at minimum 5 hours of podcasting a week.
Jeez.
At minimum. And I might get, I get a handful of decent quality content out of that. But it's all passive content that I'm creating, right? Like, this is a conversation. If I wasn't having this conversation, I would be on a sales call. And guess what, audience? This is kind of a sales call, right?
Sure.
So, you're going to have to sit on the phone with people anyway and get to know them and learn them and all those things. So video is a wonderful thing. And if you can publish it and maybe get residuals, if you do or don't, it doesn't matter, right? You could express your message in a different way and you will attract more people.
And it's good to be an early adopter in this stuff too. I mean, it's been around since 2007, but you're still considered an early adopter if you're publishing videos.
We are in the digital art revolution at the moment. There's zero doubt in my mind about that. And 200 years, they're going to be studying this moment in time of creation and deployment and packaging and all kinds of stuff about how our generation has changed distribution, rights for art, all kinds of things. We've really, if we wanted to create anarchy in how art is made and created and distributed, I think we've succeeded in a very weird way. Anthony, you made the transition from construction management and corporate sales into video marketing. What was the trigger and what helped you make that leap successfully?
Well, interestingly enough, I started in corporate sales before I got into construction
Okay.
and selling telecommunications to business owners. It was the competition against Quest.
Yep.
And so I got to talk to a lot of business owners. I got to learn how they were very deliberate and direct and no BS, when I was going over their bills, comparing their bills. And so I guess I was lucky to get some early insight into how business owners made decisions. And, money is a big motivator, obviously. I mean, I didn't have to be very good at sales if my prices, saved you half your bill.
In 2002, 2005, you were still paying per minute for the long distance. And if you could get that down, and yeah, it was a wild time for the CLEC telecom world. The government just stepped in and broke up a giant monopoly. It was we called ourselves cowboys back then. It was a good time for sure.
Yeah, well, I had to do a lot of marketing myself, to get some appointments, and there was a pretty heavy demand of us. But so I got burned out on the corporate side pretty quick and got into construction. I have, plenty of background helping my dad in the backyard to do this, and got into working for investors, and so my mind kept working. How can I be on my business instead of in my business? I keep having to manage my business and all these moving parts, but I can't market myself. How do I get out of this? And then the video stepped in, and it was this flip cam. Before video came out in smartphones, the first time you could record HD video in your hand, a little USB flipped out of it, and it had a camera on the front. And so I just walked myself around this house, and you could see the scope of my work. You could see how clean it was. You could see the relationship I had with my subcontractors. And it was that super evidence that I can see myself working with that guy right there. He called me on the phone. I went over to his kitchen. He showed everything to me. And at the end of the appointment, he's like, I'm glad I called you up. You're exactly like in person as you are in video. I said, oh, great. Well, I hope we can work together,
I didn't
and
know it was supposed to be different.
It was almost sold before I got there. And I loved every part of it. So at that moment, I guess my transition happened, and I started to just stay up until 2 a.m. teaching myself about everything video, and then recording video in front of the bathroom mirror 20 times before I got the take that I wanted, knowing that the people I was going to work for in the future were going to have to go through that same headache of, there's a gun to my head. If I don't do this in 20 minutes, the gun's going to go off. How do I do it?
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. I've always loved it. The rehearsed video is challenging. It's a special talent. But it's getting ready to get a whole lot easier for the world to make video. A whole lot easier. So
Yeah.
I think, now is a great time to be thinking about, for my video structure, I have a couple of different underlining arcs that I'm chasing, right? There's some things that I want to accomplish with my videos long term. I don't really have a short term strategy for my video creation. It's all the really long term stuff. How important is it for a creator today to have a strategy for video, knowing that in the next couple months, video creation is going to be way faster with VO3 and Soro and all these guys coming out with video AI models that are blowing the doors off? How important is a strategy going to be for your video creation and deployment?
Yeah, the production process can really get slowed down. And I think a creator's focus early on should be speed and ease of use. It might take you 2 hours the first time you do it, but if you can see yourself shortening up that gap to just 20 or 30 minutes in, a month or two, then it's probably good to spend that time up front. The asset creation, you don't have a video asset library currently, and you need one. You need as much content as you can pull from. So start early and practice. You don't have to publish everything that you record. And like you just said, Ken, you 5 hours down to a few minutes.
I'll be telling you, I've been working for 6 months on a 4-minute set, and I do anywhere between 2 and 5 hours a week. I work on that 4 minutes, right? So I don't think people understand the highly polished stuff, how long it takes today versus what it's going to be taking over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, here's why I say collect the video asset library, because as good as you are, as good as I am at editing, we're never going to be as good as the guy sitting in his office in another country that's just more passionate than us about the video production.
Well,
And
he
just
does
is
have a
so
gun.
excited about being an international entrepreneur that he's waiting for us to find him so we can put him to work and edit it much better than we can, or that we'd ever want to waste our time doing.
And you're not and you're not even thinking about the millions of people that literally have guns to their heads in the click farms, like doing this stuff. Like, not joking, this stuff's really happening, right? So video manipulates at such a beautiful speed that governments are paying or forcing people to make propaganda videos and put them out there for us to enjoy and argue with our parents about on Christmas morning. Anthony, you've been in video marketing for years. What's the single biggest shift you've seen in how businesses use video or should today?
The biggest shift is that we shouldn't be using it. We don't want to put ourselves out there. It's better if we don't make mistakes and we just keep doing what's working. And there is an old school resistance. It is real. And when people resist, putting themselves out there in a big way, these invisible boundaries just start popping up everywhere. We come up with the silliest excuses to say that we can't do it too. But I mean, that might be the sign right there that it's something to invest in, explore, learn more about. Because if it triggers you, you got to learn something about it, man. It's a problem.
Today, it's the most immersive storytelling vehicle that we have, other than being on a stage with people in real life, right? So it's a modern day cave wall.
Yeah, I think the technology growth and the rapid growth of technology has also put up this invisible barrier that it's too difficult. That, it looks so good that I could never do that myself.
Never been easier.
And you're right. That's the shift.
I was talking with a film producer the other day, and I went to film school, and I've made a lot of corporate video. 1997. It's a while ago. I was making videos, and they were bad videos. Like these were Super 8. Not my camera was probably a $5,000 camera, 3/4 chip camera, with basic lighting. I was making commercials for local cable stations at $1,000 per finished minute, and I was blowing the doors off of everybody else in town. So a 30-second commercial, I would make it for $500. I would go out there and I would be at your space for the day or two. But I mean, 97, $500 for a kid was, pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
The thing about that scaling, I mean, I could make an hour-long video today in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty well. I mean, we're going to do it. We're doing it right now in real time.
Right.
This video, our process after the fact is going to take, I've got it down to about 20 minutes from the time that this stops, the amount of work that will be put into this video after the fact, 20 minutes of human labor, a couple hours of the AI guys doing stuff. Right. So
Ken, you just said something about your early years in production. And I don't know if you've seen the recent documentary from Charlie Sheen that came out.
I did.
He had those same videos that you're talking about from that early childhood.
Yeah.
That's
him and his brother were making it. Yeah. Him and Amelia were making them. Yeah.
So fascinating.
Yep.
It's so
was
amazing
in my
to
basement,
see that.
in my step-parents' basement, making pictures to video. I used to charge, I got in so much trouble. We used to charge $1 a picture to convert it to video, and we would zoom in on the picture with our camera, and we would just do this hundreds of times. We got in trouble by ASCAP because we weren't paying for the rights to the music. We were just taking them off of cassette decks and doing it. We didn't know any better. But I mean, yeah, that was my second business that I ever started, was video production company.
I mean, you got to break it so you know how to use it. Let's be honest.
I mean, how's a kid supposed to know about ASCAP before the internet? Like,
Yeah.
Like I had internet, but it was like 14 baud or something.
Yeah. Dial up.
I was good with that stuff. I knew how to shotgun modems when I was a kid. I could do 2 modems. I could have 56 up and 56 down. Anthony, your site says video marketing performs 80% better than print, text, or audio. How do you help clients pick metrics or prove ROI that go beyond views and likes?
Yeah, the best one I've ever found is the YouTube video ads and the conversion campaigns with custom intent audiences. So if you want to target a specific person, you know exactly who you want to get in front of, the eyeballs that need to see, that need to be more aware of you. You create an audience in Google Ads, and then you can attach any one of your campaigns to that audience. So I'll give you an example. Anybody that visits your 10 closest competitors in your city for garage repair, And so instantly Google and YouTube know that anybody that went to that website's on your list, on your audience. So you want those people to see your brand, your video, your display ad. Then Google and YouTube will work together to put that content in front of that person. If you want to just target men who are in the top 10 income brackets all over the nation, that are over the age of 65, you can do that too. And this allows you then to really get every single cent out of Google and their free advertising for you. And it's run through YouTube. So here's an example. You create this YouTube ad, you put it as a pre-roll ad. They're also a video sequence ad. If you skip it after 5 seconds, then you pay nothing. So that's a free impression, and it's a 5-second video. If a picture says 1,000 words, how many words does a video say? Like 50,000, right? Because it's body language, it's speaking more than just the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, so you skip that, you got it free. If you capture their eyeballs and they watch for 10 seconds, then you pay. And you end up paying like 5 cents per view. Now, here's where it gets really good. Because you just weeded them out. Your message can't be for everybody. 90% of people are never going to buy what you're offering. They're not in the market. But those 10% of people who you're after anyways. So now those people indicated through their passiveness, doing nothing, their plain dwell time on the video, that they're having an interest in what they're watching. And so you can stack up the next videos behind the initial video, and they get continuously less expensive because the engagement goes up and up. And so it's the lowest cost traffic you've ever had to your website. It might not be the least expensive, but it could be a true number for what it actually takes to get somebody to pre-buy your services. Before they actually clicked on your offer on the ad, they're like, yeah, I think I could see myself working with this guy.
So do I make that first 5 seconds boring or entertain? So this is the first time in this particular scenario, for that first 5 seconds, we want to grab their attention and keep them there. What are some strategies that I can do knowing that on a YouTube ad, I make a video, the first 5 seconds is free for me? Do I make that super boring? Do I make that super exciting? Do I just
It's a little bit of reverse psychology from what I've found. You want to tell people who the video is not for. So if you don't got kids with poopy diapers at home, don't watch this video.
Okay.
Everybody with poopy diapers is going to continue to watch.
So tell them who it's not for.
Yeah. It's the 90% right away. They bet this isn't for you.
Okay. And that gets them to skip.
Or they might still want to watch because you just told them who it's not for. And who's to anybody else to tell me what to do? See how that works?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
All right. So the first 5 seconds is who the video is not for if you're going to be running an ad. Now, how do you swap them after the 5? Do you just go straight to the close? Or I guess it depends on what you're looking for.
I point out the pain. I know their pain because I have their solution. So I just stick the dagger and twist it a little bit, trying to point out that they keep hitting their head against the concrete, scratching their nails against the chalkboard. They're driving themselves insane with these ongoing, repetitive
amplify the problem.
Yeah.
So tell them who it's not for, amplify the problem.
No.
and then pull
Now
the lever.
you've earned the right to introduce yourself. See, people get it wrong and they introduce themselves right up front. Not in the podcast form. I think you need to do that in the podcast form, but in a business product service relationship. Hi, my name's Anthony. I'm with anthonyprichard.com. And if you're curious about YouTube videos, sign up for a 10-minute discovery call with me to see if they might work for your business.
Actually, this season on Clicks and Bricks, we chose to go with a pattern interrupt to introduce and not do the introduction for about 30 seconds.
Nice. Yeah.
So we do instantly. We start a pattern interrupt. It was how we start our show this season.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. You're going to interrupt. You're going to point out the pain.
Yeah. Well, it goes into our marketing strategy because we end up in the middle of like Gary Vee videos is where we place ourselves.
That's the perfect spot for you guys.
Yeah, it works pretty well. And it's super cheap for us to do that. So who it's not for, amplify the problem, close, as for the sale.
Unique service offering, USO.
Offer.
So that's the name, unique position in the market. And then the CTA at the end, the call to action. Sign up for a 10-minute discovery call.
That's a hell of a strategy for a video ad on YouTube.
Yeah. Short,
I am
sweet.
right now in the world of marketing and advertising across the board, and I've got over 100 million in online sales in my life. I've lost a ton in Google ads and Facebook ads and all those things. I've won too, but hands down, the most business that I've ever gotten, the best value for my time, has been organic content. Do I use these videos organically or only on YouTube? Or if I spend the money to produce a video, is it only for that YouTube ad or is it for other stuff too?
Yeah. I think as marketers, we want to know what is that first step. And man, I always ask myself, who am I talking to? Because I can't talk to everybody at once, but I can talk to one person really well. Like when I learned that investors and fix and flips were my people, making that first video became really easy for me. So who has the most amount of money and the highest demand for what I do? Let's start talking to them. And what are all the things that they deal with? So let's just have a conversation on a platform like this about the process of installing whatever you're selling, the pitfalls to avoid, case studies of other examples where it's worked. And I think now somebody has all the information they need to make an educated decision once they find someone, because they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to go check out your reputation. They're going to try to find out, who is this person who's asking for my time, or who am I willing to sacrifice my time to go meet? Is it worth my time? That's the first sale we got to make.
You know, it's funny too, because I tell the story a lot. When I was after school, I got a job making videos. I had my own video production company. I had to I freelanced a lot. And I found myself literally, I was filming concrete drying. I was in this plant in Nebraska, and I was literally making the how to pour concrete video for this plant. And I'm like, I hate this. That's one of the big reasons I got out of video. I'm like, I only want to make videos that I want to make, right? I was an artist, I was cocky and all that other stuff. But now that could make a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like just that one process. So
yeah. Have you heard of Dick Pronoke?
No, I haven't.
He lived in Alaska and had that PBS special after he died because he had archived all this footage and produced all this footage with the Super 8 master. And really? It's making a huge comeback. He's just living as
it's absolutely
hermit
wild.
Up in a lake in Alaska. You got to fly in to get to his house. He built it with his hands.
And then he passed away and they found all the content?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, he loved the journey, right? Yeah. I mean, some of us just like doing it. For me, I made the decision to start making video every single day at night in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It was so easy. I've got an amazing video camera in my pocket all the time. You know, at some point in the day, I'm going to make video, whatever. And I don't need to publish it.
Yeah. Right.
But, you know, at some point in 19, I did say, hey, we're going to make a video and publish it every day. Doesn't matter how bad it is. Some of them are bad.
Yeah, but imagine if, today you've evolved, you just upload those files to a folder and your VA already has access to that folder. So they know that every day they got to whip this up in the style that you want it. And then
Yeah.
your day becomes a lot easier because the work of editing is offloaded.
Editing podcasts is so automated now. It's insane. Like this format of two people next to each other on a Riverside or Zoom, the automated of doing that is so good. Action and stuff like that is pretty good.
Have you used Opus Pro?
You will get a link for Opus Pro. Yes.
Opus.
Yeah. Opus Clip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My
It's
favorite.
amazing. I love it. I mean, now if you for the audience to understand a long form podcast like this, there's a program called Opus Clip that I can take this video, put it in, and it's going to go through and chop it all up. It's going to make that Alex Hormozy, like really cool crap on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just the process this year to after Clicks and Bricks takes about 20 minutes of manpower and about 4 hours to completion. 3 years ago, before we left the network, it was taking 10 hours for every episode. And it was horrible. I hated it, right? It was just time consuming and demanding and repetitive, but now it's just so much faster and easier that the processes are there.
Yeah.
For businesses that dread being on camera, what are your strategies to get them comfortable and authentic on video? I think we just talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, I actually conduct this class for a CEO group because they're at this point now where they're understanding that they need to bring the video production in-house. It's too expensive now to hire outside for this. Because all the tools and assets and resources are readily available, it makes sense to bring it in-house. So we do a live demonstration and we start to warm them up. Okay. The first one is, take a photo of you serious, take a photo of you surprised, take a photo of you angry or whatever. Now, see, you can communicate without words. That's what we're going to be doing with video. And partner up and give this testimonial. And I give them this testimonial sandwich formula so that it helps anyone give a great 1-minute testimonial. And, now they're starting to see how it's really going to make sense for their business. It's tangible, it's doable, it's not unknown anymore. And, we talk about the video sales letter and a sepia tone. It's a very great look for a CEO in a sepia tone to talk about, their law firm or their accounting firm.
What is a sepia tone?
It's the copperized tone. Instead of black and white, it's copper and white, I guess you'd call it.
So it's the color of the screen.
Yeah, the filter.
Yeah. I use a little red one right now. I think it's going to go away soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably. And then we do offer this rollout package for their company where they can promote upcoming positions that they'll be able to be promoted into. Cash incentives for collecting a part of the video asset library that we know we need, like a sunrise over the business or a sunset on the front door. There's a ton of these types of assets we could use in video production, drone footage, etc. It goes on. So contests for the best footage, and we get everybody's involvement so it's exciting and fun and rewarding. And now you have this crackshot team of self-learners that you just grew from the inside of your company to start to take charge and take over, because the best video deployment in a company does have to go with the leader. They have to show and just give permission, Ken, that it's okay, and then delegate it to the forward-facing employees, the ones who the customers are going to see anyways. That's who really is belonging on your videos that are going on, YouTube and Facebook.
One of the businesses that I own, it's a boxing school, and every shift, every employee has to pick up the phone and make a video and give it to the manager to publish on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Nice. That's a part of the employment requirements
every
now.
shift. It's part of the job. Like documenting what you're doing.
I need to call this guy and research. That is some cutting edge research right there.
It just has to be done, right? Like it's part of the job. That's like, you have to show the world what it is you're doing in a micro little bubble. And if you can do that, so I'm going to say I've highly lean on organic because, I've had ads that seemed like they'd worked before, get a little excited before I go to bed and like, man, I'm going to be rich tomorrow. I take the thing off and then I'm $50,000 in debt in the morning. Um, I've done that multiple times in my life. You'd think I'd learn, but so now today I lean highly on organic. I don't even think about paying for content publishing until I know that it's gone, that already have some kind of
Yeah,
interaction with it, right?
exactly. Good move.
That being said, and I don't know how to determine this at all because this is blowing my mind recently. I can publish the same piece of content at 2 different times, and one of them takes off, one of them doesn't. I have no idea what goes on there. So even that split testing is kind of challenging. What do you recommend somebody, like, when they're going to go into ads, for the very first time? How much money do I need, like, if to start my very first video and have an ad going on YouTube for a local HVAC company or electrical firm?
Sure. HVAC is going to want to capture some leads through an AC tune-up, $39 AC tune-up. And just by doing that, they'll get their brand out there. They'll get more emergency calls. They'll get more regular maintenance and repairs calls. But they'll also get people filling out this offer. Before you do ads, definitely got to set up a way to track the results. And the best result you can ask for really is somebody submitting their information to you. So you have to give them something that they'll exchange. And
The best one would be credit card.
Yeah.
They give you the credit card online. That's the holy grail.
Yeah, that's not easy, but you can go straight direct, play direct. I'm a soccer coach, and so I keep telling my players, gotta be creative and play with one another instead of always being predictable and going direct. But yeah, maybe it's the top 10 tips to lower your AC costs this season, and that would be something I'd definitely give my information for, because I'd be saving money for free. And then you've got their email so you can nurture them. Now, this is the point where you really start to collect on your advertising investment, because you're starting to build a list of contact people. You're starting to nurture those people with automatic emails. And now you're plugging the holes of your waste in your marketing, where you just paid for traffic before and then kind of went nowhere. Now you can be like, okay, I paid $500 this week and we got 15 leads. Okay, let's see what we can do with these people. And, if a couple buy your high ticket item, you're in business.
Generally, one of them buys your high ticket item and you're okay. If you have the high ticket item, right? If you have a service contract or something like that. And for HVAC guys, if you're commercial and resi, one commercial deal will pay dividends for decades, probably. I know what I pay my HVAC guys. It's
silly.
I mean, it's probably $500,000 a year for HVAC repair for me. But when scaling your client services, which roles or functions did you prioritize first? Editing, strategy, distribution, Q&A, etc.
Yeah, the system to catch the traffic has to come first. I call it a digital footprint. So my onboarding, guide my client to claim primary ownership of the major measurement tools, Google Analytics, Google Drive, Google Tag Manager, Google Search Console, Google Ads, YouTube, and Google Business Profile. And now they can start to see some of that traffic. And, once they track, the thing we get measured for, the way we keep our job is to show you the results. So you have to have a trackable event after the submit button that can show you the results you're getting. And you keep track of those, obviously, what you're spending and what you're getting. That's the new revenue stream itself. We keep a close eye on that, and we try to figure out why the cost is going up or why the cost is going down. And usually we got to publish more content and keep it interesting, keep the engagement up and keep talking to people in their language.
Absolutely. What's your process for creating evergreen video frameworks so clients don't have to reinvent from scratch every time?
Well, I kind of just went over it in the digital footprint, but the framework would be, a video lives forever on YouTube. If I search for installing these inflatable airbags in my pickup truck, and I do it with my business address, then Google's always going to know that this is a great result for anybody that it identifies as in that geographical area who's looking for this particular how-to video, how to solve this problem video. And they're going to find that video. And that is evergreen. Now, what can we do with those eyeballs? At the end of the video, at the very least, we can offer them something for free in return, a freemium. We can build our list. Now, we can do that absolutely for free. There's no paid placement in this funnel at all. And I think that right there, let's just keep it simple. Anybody can do that.
Yep, absolutely. Walk me through a client success story where the video campaign overperformed expectations. What decisions before, during, or after made that happen?
Okay, there's a local distributor for Old Hickory buildings and sheds. And this particular business owner has been stressed pretty severely with COVID and the change in our economy and the change in marketing. And it seemed like he was trying this company for SEO and this company for Facebook ads and this company for content and this company for social media. And it was starting, as smart as he was, a military general or sergeant, that started his business while he was in Afghanistan. Very intelligent man. Was just having trouble keeping up with it. So he was an early adopter of AI too. And he had created 8,000 extra pages on his website to try and beat the SEO algorithm. And now, here, Anthony, take care of this. Okay, great. So we got that to contend with. But it was really the holistic approach. The ability to be able to do everything for one customer allows me to hit all the angles. And when somebody's buying something, they want to buy something from someone they're familiar with. Now, this guy was great because he had signs and he had a location and people drove by it at some point or another. And so they were very recognizable, but they just weren't in all the areas. They weren't giving the online experience that somebody expected with a big name like Old Hickory. And, they could buy their shed off of Facebook Marketplace, but they knew what they were going to get. Or they could buy their shed from Old Hickory and it was going to last and look good. So we just used all the manufacturer's images, created a lot of carousels. We segmented the marketing, lazy marketing. Let's just generally advertise HVAC, Ken. Let's say air conditioning services near me. No. People are looking for specific things. In this case, they were looking for carports. They were looking for wooden buildings and sheds, and they were looking for metal garages. So we had a different ad campaign for each product. And the people that were looking for carports didn't have to waste their time with wooden buildings or metal buildings. They were going straight to the carports. And they were bypassing the whole rest of the brand. They could have cared less if they, sold a semi-truck. They were looking for carports.
Absolutely.
So you give people a great experience. You roll up your sleeves. You do the marketing work you got to do to give people a great experience. And it's usually more detailed and less generic.
Yeah, that is a scenario, in my opinion, that you just took a well-organized business that has a product, right, with a specific, that solves a specific problem, a product that solves a problem. And all you did there was bring their marketing under standard operating procedures. It's really what you've ended up doing. And then they see a lift from that.
Mm-hmm.
I see it a lot where the marketing department just has no standard operating procedure. It just kind of,
I actually went on.
Right? They have a sales department and they have a website and they think that that's marketing, and it's just not.
Yeah. I think if your marketers want to reach out to your customers, that's a really good sign. And in this case, I needed more video testimonials. So I called their past 20 clients and I said, hey, I'm now working for this company. I heard you had a great experience. Would you mind jumping on a Zoom call with me to talk about it? Because it would really help, Stephanie, who helped you buy this. And they're like,
Huge.
yeah, I got 1 out of 10. That was all we needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony, the Diary of a CEO is my favorite podcast. And Steven, the host, asked every one of his guests to write a question for the next guest. And I bought the deck of cards of all of their questions. I'm going to pull a random question out of the deck. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The way I like doing this is I'm going to ask you to answer it, and then I'm going to answer it. And if it's appropriate, I'll ask the audience to answer it in the comments.
I'm already thinking about the question that I'm going to leave, so I'm a little bit worried.
Well, I'm not going to ask you that. That's Steven's deal. And this is from my nemesis, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm still mad at him for taking away Pluto from me when I was a kid. What do you want your tombstone to read about you?
You're going deep, Ken.
Wow, that was tough. Thanks, Neil. I'm still not my favorite person.
Yeah. Well, I worked with a personal coach, and I know personal coaches get a lot of criticism, but a coach will ask you the questions that you won't ask yourself. It's the only reason you're going to hire a coach. And a coach asked me a really tough question that was very similar to this one. He's like, what's your daily mission going to be that allows you to keep doing what you do? And I thought really deep and hard about it. And I remembered these serious lessons that I got in my life that really meant the most to me. And so I came up with this mission statement, which is what I would love to go on my gravestone. And it would say, a man who is, sorry, you can cut this out, right? A hero to others, loving myself and living with adventure.
Wonderful. I love it.
I'm supposed to say that self to my everyday. Obviously, I
You
need
forgot to
to
say it.
do that more.
Hang that shit on your mirror. If I get a tombstone, which I don't think I will, I hope that it reads, he left it better than he found it. That's it. And if you're out there, ladies and gentlemen, you want to give us what you want on your tombstone, it's a fun little thought project for sure. Leave it in the comments. Anthony, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you.
It was great being on your show.